is up, party people? This is kind of a solo video today. We are starting a kind of a series. Every third week of the month, I'm going to do a historical type of video. I'm starting with Colorado history, so I'm going to go through as much as I know about Colorado history. If you guys have any ideas, anything you want me to cover, you can comment that down below. Or you can go to my Instagram, you can DM me, anything like that. But grab yourself some tea, some coffee. I have some water right here because it is quite warm. Filming this in my grandparents' house, so thank you. So today I will be talking about the 1914 Ludlow Massacre. A little bit of background. Ludlow is about 12 miles north of Trinidad. Now it's a ghost town now. There's several buildings and homesteads still standing in the area. We went and visited this area. I have a little car, so I didn't want to go too far into the dirt roads and stuff. Didn't want anything to happen to my car while we were so far away from home. It's about 2 hours from where we live. So there are the homesteads. We saw them from far away. They're basically in ruins now. They weren't really kept up. They're on private property, I think. But there is a United Mine Workers of America memorial. I'll insert some pictures, some footage that we took as we go through this process of talking about it. So Ludlow was a coal mining town back in 1900s. People came here, in search of jobs. They wanted money. What we all want. We want money. So Ludlow became an important piece of Colorado's history because in this area there was an attack on striking miners by the Colorado National Guard as well as the Colorado Fuel and Iron Company guards. On April 20th of 1914 was when this attack ensued. Different sources say different things. The source that I saw said that 25 people died. The Ludlow Memorial said 21 people died, but this included 11 children and then 3 National Guard troops. There was a large number of Greeks and Italians and also Mexican immigrants that came here for work. They needed money. They wanted to be in America, So when we're talking about the strike, there was roughly 10,000 miners that had been on strike since September 13th of 1913. So about 7 months the strike had been going on. They were protesting low pay. They were protesting the bad working conditions. It was unsafe. They were also protesting the hours that they were working. So they were working upwards of 60 hours. They were fighting to get a 40-hour work week, 8 hour a day, and they were fighting to get better pay because they were getting paid in pennies. Pennies. Imagine working a 40-hour work week and you're making pennies by the hour. Now back then it's different, but still, coal mining was mining in general, So where the miners were striking, the land was owned by a mining company. The mining company evicted them. So this is where they went and set up tent towns. Ludlow had the biggest tent town in the area. It housed 1,200 strikers. They had tents, I at the memorial site, it said that the tents were 10 by 14 feet, which is not a lot. It's not very much. So when they got evicted to wherever they were going to, strike, the owner of the mining area, the mining company in that area, called upon the National Guard so that they could get the miners under control. So the National Guard actually overlooked a lot of the violence ensued by detectives. They brought detectives in to see why everything was happening, if the miners had the right to strike, all this. So when labor activist Mary Jones heard of this, she came to Colorado, to Ludlow, to lead a campaign to bring national attention to this issue. So let's talk about her, Mary Jones. So Mary Mother Jones, that's what a lot of people, she earned the name Mother Jones after going through what she went through to get to this point, and we'll talk about that right now. So this is Mother Jones. Mother Jones was born in Cork County, Ireland. Historians are really unsure about her date of birth, because it was so, way back then. But she was baptized on August 1st, 1837. She did immigrate to North America with her family when she was young to escape the Irish famine. Before Mary became a headstrong woman in the movement for better treatment of workers, she was a dressmaker and a school teacher. She was married to George Jones, not the country singer. He came much later. But she had 4 kids with him. Unfortunately, Mary lost her husband and all 4 of her kids to yellow fever in 1867. So she lost everything. And then she lost everything again in the Great Chicago Fire of 1871. So this woman's been through the ringer, okay? She's had a rough one. But once she lost everything twice, she became interested in the union. So when she became interested in the union for the mining workers, she was like, all right, we're going to get things done. I'm going to be amazing. I'm going to help everyone. All that. She was once labeled by the USDA the most dangerous woman in America because she was a fearless fighter for workers' rights. She used to say this specific quote. She said this specific quote. Did she say it every time? Probably not. She said something close to it, but she would try to embarrass the men that were scared to join her in the fight and fear that they would either lose their jobs, their lives, She would say, quote, "I have been to jail more than once, and I expect to go again. If you are too cowardly to fight, I will fight." So she's just trying to be like, hey, I'm a woman fighting for your rights as a man. If you don't want to stand up and help me, that's fine. I'll go back to jail for you. Whatever. Which, okay, Mother Mary. All right. Or Mother Jones, sorry. So after her taking interest in the union and she decided to fight for these workers' rights, she traveled across the country to show her support for these struggling workers. As an example, she went to Kansas City to help a group of unemployed men who were planning to march to Washington, D.C., demanding better jobs. So she went and helped them plan that, helped them lay it out, and helped them succeed. She also went to Birmingham, Alabama. She helped the miners there when they were striking. Like, they were striking their working conditions just like they were here in Colorado. So this is why she coined the name Mother, because she was basically everybody's mom. Like, going around and taking care of them, making sure that they get what they needed, making sure that they were taken care of. She was literally the whole country's mom, basically. So, like I said, Mother Jones was literally everybody's mom. Like, going around, making sure they were taken care of, that they're happy, being treated good. So anywhere that miners or workers anywhere were trying to organize a union, Mother Jones was there. She was, like, right there. Some things worth mentioning about Mother Jones. She was held in more jails in more states than any other union leader at the time. And she was even charged with a capital offense. And you know what? Mother Jones was a badass. So she just kept going. She was like, okay, charge me and put me in jail, but I'm still gonna fight for these rights. So Mother Jones was also really concerned about child workers. There was a strike in Philadelphia that included 10,000 workers, and of those 10,000 workers, 16,000 of them were children. And these workers were striking to have their work week cut from 60 hours a week to 55, which is absolutely insane. I can't imagine working more than 40 hours, and I can barely do that. I don't do that. But just, like, thinking about working 50 or 60 hours a week, even as a child, like, I'm 20 years old, and I can't fathom working more than 40. That is a lot of hours as a child. So Mother Jones died on November 30th, 1930. She is buried in the Union Miners Cemetery in Mount Olive, Illinois. I'll insert a picture here. She literally, in the article I read, which everything that I used will be linked down below, but she literally went, like, she worked and fought for workers' rights until she couldn't even hold a pen in her hand anymore. She was a bad bee, okay? Like, she woke up one morning and was like, I lost my husband, I lost 4 of my kids, and I lost everything in a fire. So you know what? I'm gonna go take care of everybody, all while taking care of me. So let's talk more about the attack in Ludlow. So, the violence in Ludlow became a lot more apparent in April of 1914. Remember that the strike started in September of 1913. The National Guard had to cut back on how many troops were in Ludlow because it was just getting too expensive, and, you know, the government didn't want to pay for that. So the violence just got worse, and they had to just ignore it, unfortunately. So on Sunday, April 19th, 1914, the National Guard deployed a machine gun on a bluff overlooking the camp. I'll insert some footage that we got. I'll put a caption on the video on the part that I think was the bluff that they looked down and killed a bunch of people on, but I'm not 100% sure. I tried to look off the map, guess where we were, and then look, but it has been a lot of years since that happened. So things have probably changed with the Earth, and, you know, the Earth shifting and all that. But like I said, I'll tell you which one I think it is, but I don't know. So the reasoning for this machine gun being deployed from the National Guard is unclear. They killed 3 of the strike leaders, including labor organizer Luis Ticas. Evidence suggests that he was led out to discuss a truce, but then he was captured and killed by the National Guard. Women and children, when this machine gun got deployed, women and children went and hid in the cellars that they had dug underneath their tents. These cellars were dug underneath the tents for safety as well as more storage. By the evening of April 19th, 1914, the National Guard soaked the tents in kerosene and set them on fire. Again, reasoning, we're not sure what happened. So this fire ended up killing 11 children and 2 women in one of the cellars. I'll put in some footage right here. This is the cellar. The cellar that the women and children were killed in was called the Death Pit. So when this happened, the striking miners retaliated. They attacked town officials, strike breakers, and the mines, which resulted in 50 more people being killed. So this lasted for 10 days. They called this the 10 Days War. Let me rewind. There was some research that I did from a while back, and then research that I did while I was there. Super interesting place. So this one says that 50 more people got killed. This one says 63 people got killed. The 10 Days War, it said it was fought along the 40-mile front between Trinidad and Walsenburg, which, that's a lot. That's a lot of battleground to cover, you know? But between 50 and 63 people died in this. It was a long time back, so they can't be 100% sure of how many or where exactly it happened, except for that one cellar that they found. Now, in the little clip that I had, it showed us opening the cellar. I wanted to go down there. I was quite curious. I really did. I got some... Me and Sam, we both got some dark energies from the cellar itself because that's where 11 kids and 2 women were killed. I wanted to go down there, like my senses were telling me not to go down there, but my curiosity wanted to go down there. And Sam was like, I don't really get a good feeling about this. And I was like, okay, we should probably not. But super interesting. If I go again, I may go down there. Woodrow Wilson was worried about more violence that had already occurred because by this point there had been almost 100 people killed in the massacre at Ludlow, and then the war following that. And so, you know, he probably didn't want anybody else to die for no reason. So he sent more federal troops to restore the order, and these troops actually did. They were impartial, and they did not engage in any violence, which is good. They were like, guys, you gotta chill. Everybody needs chill. So the strike officially ended on December 10th, 1914. That is a really long, that's over a year of a strike. And that is insane because they were striking for better wages, better work, like safer work environments. They were striking for less hours. And that is something I just can't fathom. Like, you're striking so hard for over a year, and they just don't do anything about it. But for, like, them striking like this, all the coal miners, not just here in Colorado, but, like, all over the country, like, because they fought like this, is part of the reason that we all work 40 hours and nothing more, and that's just the basic work week. You work 8 hours a day, 5 days a week. So once the the strike was over, none of the strikers were convicted of any criminal charges, which is really good because they didn't do anything wrong. So that was the 1914 Ludlow Massacre. It was quite interesting. We drove down to Ludlow from Colorado Springs, which, like I said, is like a 2-hour drive. It was really nice. It was hot, but it was really nice. We went and saw the memorial. The memorial was erected May 30th, 1918. This was, I believe, during the archaeologists' research that they erected this. If you guys get a chance to go, literally just type in Ludlow and it'll give you the directions there. It is really interesting. I mean, really fun. I wouldn't say fun. It's just, you know, it's a different type of thing. It's a little gated off area. Not a lot of people know that, I don't think. Like, I asked my grandparents, but they're my grandparents. It's a super interesting topic, and I really enjoyed doing the research, and I really enjoyed going and visiting that memorial and seeing the cellar that the children and women died in. It is insane to me that they kept that for that long. If you guys have any suggestions, please comment them down below. I will be sure to look into that. Remember that these history videos will be every 3rd week of the month. I will be picking things at random, doing anything that you guys suggest for me. I am going to be starting school, so it's going to be a lot on top of what I'm doing now, but that's okay. I really enjoy doing this. I love history. I love Colorado history. Even if it's something that's not Colorado history that you guys have suggestions for, comment them down below. Totally down to do history things. Sam's from Michigan. If any Michigan people have any history you know a little bit about, but you would like us to do a little bit more digging, comment those down below. Make sure you guys like and subscribe. If you really like this video, send this to a history buff, or send this to like your grandpa, or send this to your uncle who loves history. Get us out there. Make sure you guys follow all my social medias down below. Sam should be getting his social medias up and running here soon. Thank you guys for watching. We'll see you in the next one.